What is going on, YouTube? Don't really know where to start this video off other than I know it's been a really long time. I'll explain that in a separate video why I've been gone for so long. But as for right now, I just want to go ahead and get started with this video that I'm making at the moment. And as you can tell, guys, this is going to be about the new champion being released for League of Legends, which is Taliyah. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Not really sure. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys. But anyway, here you can read about her. We'll go ahead and read this. She is the Stone Weaver in the game, so it says it's tough being different, and Taliyah's earth-shattering powers have always set her apart from the crowd. She's a control mage who weaves the ground beneath her into a deadly weapon. When she sets her sights on a destination, the world itself shifts to get her there. So, sounds pretty interesting, guys, and from the looks of that, or from the description of that, and kind of from these pictures here, as you can see, she kind of looks like an earthbender from like the show Avatar or something like that. Someone who can bend the earth around them, which is pretty cool. I think it's a really cool concept for a champion. And what we're going to do here, guys, I'm going to break down all of her abilities one by one here for you guys. We'll watch the video, kind of talk a little bit about it, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on each ability and how I think it's going to play out in game. So obviously we'll start out with her passive. Her passive is rock surfing, and it says when out of combat, Taliyah builds movement speed whenever traveling near walls. So we'll go ahead and watch this. Alright, there you have it, guys. That's really all it was. So really, it's a really simple passive. If you're, as it says right there, if you're walking along a wall, it doesn't matter if it's this wall right here, this wall right here, any wall in the entire Summoner's Rift map, your champion, or she's going to actually gain movement speed whenever she is walking near those walls, and eventually she'll kind of jump up on a rock there and kind of rock surf, as you can see. From the looks of it, it doesn't really increase her movement speed too much from the looks of it. Obviously, we won't know how well this does until the PvE later on tonight, but we'll see kind of how it does. But right now, that's really her passive. It's really simple. I think it's a good passive for kind of roaming around. If you're mid, you might be able to get down to top, up to top, or down to bot really easily with this passive. But I don't feel like it's going to be something that's super strong. It's really just a meh passive. It's not the best in the world. Moving on here to her Q, which is called Threaded Volley. Taliyah gains increased movement speed when traversing worked ground. That's the passive form of it. And the active is Taliyah will rip up the ground around her, firing a volley of 5 stone shards in a target direction while moving freely. So she can move when using this ability. Casting Threaded Volley converts the area into worked ground for a few minutes. Additional Threaded Volley cast over worked ground will yield just 1 rock projectile. So to make that kind of simple for you guys, we'll go ahead and watch the video first to kind of see the ability in action here. So as you can see, it's a skill shot, a pretty decently ranged skill shot, and boom, shot 5 shards there. So now what I want to go over here is, as you can see, when she goes to fire this ability, guys, boom, you see this circle on the outside of her? That is now worked ground, was what Riot likes to call it. And so what that means is that circle right here is going to stay there for a few minutes. I'm not sure how long that is. They didn't specify. So maybe 2 to 3 minutes. This is going to remain there on this spot. And while Taliyah is in this circle, she has increased movement speed, which is pretty good. So if you lay a lot of these down in your lane, you're pretty much going to have increased movement speed in your entire lane for the period that this lasts, 2 to 3 minutes. Or if you could lay it down, if you're mid, lay it down in the river, I'm thinking, a bunch of them, you'll have increased movement speed all the way down to bot lane maybe, or at least a halfway to bot lane, depending upon how many you put down. So this could actually open up opportunities, I think, for her to be a jungler too. Just if she had these all throughout her jungle, that might make her really strong and mobile in the jungle. We'll have to wait and see how that really works out. But anyway, onto this part where it says if you cast an additional Threaded Volley over worked ground, it will only give you 1 rock projectile. So as you can see, normally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rocks hit Xerath. If you cast Q again inside of this circle, it's only going to throw 1 at him, or you're only going to be able to shoot 1 rock projectile, which obviously you don't want to do that. It's really going to nerf the damage of the spell itself. So if you're going to use Q, make sure that you're starting it in a new circle if you can. Moving on to her W, it's called Seismic Shove. Taliyah marks a target location. After a brief delay, the ground erupts, knocking up and damaging all enemies caught in the blast zone. Taliyah can recast it before it erupts to throw the victims in any targeted direction, even over walls. And to go back to the Q, guys, I think this is a really good spell. It's really unique, and I think it's going to be pretty strong, depending upon if you know how to use it. Now, with this ability, it has the capability of knocking up and damaging multiple enemies with this one ability, which is really cool. So we'll go ahead and watch it here. So, as you can tell, it's a skill shot. It's a long-range skill shot, and boom and boom. Okay, so that kind of went kind of fast, guys. So we'll go ahead and let me cut this down to half speed here. So as you can tell, what's going to happen here is once you cast the W underneath someone, it's going to, here we go, it's going to mark the area, and then you actually got to point, as you saw there, she gets to choose what direction this is going to knock Azir, and they're choosing it to come this way, as you can tell by the marking. And what will happen is, after a few seconds, boom, it erupts. It dealt damage to Azir, and it is now throwing him in the direction that Taliyah chose. So you can choose to throw him towards you, away from you, this way. It doesn't really matter. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a really unique spell. It has a lot of potential to throw him into your tower or disengage a couple enemies off of you. I think it's pretty cool if you can land it. It looks like it might be a little difficult to land because it's not an immediate cast spell. It has a little bit of a charge up before it actually does it. So we'll have to see how that really works out later on in the PvE. Moving on to her E ability, which is actually one that I think is I'm most interested in. It's called Unraveled Earth. Taliyah scatters boulders onto the ground before her. Opponents who dash through the fractured earth take damage from an explosion. After a few seconds, any remaining rocks in the field erupt, dealing a second wave of damage. So we'll go ahead and watch this here to see what it kind of does. Boom. Okay, so as you guys saw, it reminds me of Zig's Minefield, kinda, in a way, of course. If you just look at it, that's what it seems like. A really large Zig's Minefield, maybe. Now, one thing to take note here is Xerath did not take damage while walking through. None of these rocks exploded on him. He only took damage from the initial throw of the ability, like the minions did from the initial throw. And that's because he's not dashing through it. This is very specific. It has to, in order to make one of these explode, someone has to dash through it. So that would be like, I think Fiora's dash, Riven's dash, who else do we got that has dashes? Maybe Xin Zhao's Q, maybe that's like a dash that would pop it. I'm not really sure. Or, is it Xin Zhao's Q? I can't even remember which one is his one. Maybe it's his E. I don't remember, but you know what I'm talking about, guys. I don't play too much of him. Anyway, so you got to keep that in mind. One thing to also note, though, is that when Xerath is walking through it, he is extremely slowed, so it does act as a form of CC. Kind of like a soft CC. It slows him really quite a bit while he is inside of the area. And then at the end of it, obviously, all the rocks, after a pretty great 3 or 4 second delay, they all explode and deal damage. So what I really think this ability is going to be great for is wave clear. That's the first thing that comes to mind. That's a giant. Look how big this is, guys. That can clear a lot of minions if you position it properly. I think it'll be used for wave clear. I think it'll be great if you're maybe being ganked or to help set up a gank, just because of the slow that it does provide and how large of a radius it has. I don't think it's going to be a spell used for damaging champions, because a lot of the times champions should be able to get out of the area before they explode, unless you have some form of follow-up CC from your jungler to keep them in here. It all really is just dependent. But like I said, maybe if she goes in the jungle with kind of some of these abilities, this could assist for a really good gank. You're coming out of the jungle, throw this down into the middle of the lane, and I don't know, it might help your bot lane follow up with more CC to keep her locked in. Okay, guys, moving on to her ultimate ability here. Her R is Weaver's Wall. So let me go ahead and read this here. Taliyah briefly channels before summoning a massive wall of spiraling rock that tears through the rift in a target direction. Taliyah can reactivate Reaver's wall while channeling to right atop the wall as it emerges. Taking damage or inputting a move command in any direction will cut her ride short. So we'll go ahead and watch this, guys. It's a pretty straightforward spell here. So as you can see, she casts it, boom, reactivates it, and is riding along this giant rock wall, boom, right in the mid lane. So a few things that I'm curious about, and we won't find out until the PvE, is obviously this ultimate's going to do damage. It's going to do damage on top of allowing her to kind of do, it reminds me of Aurelion Sol, being able to fly over terrain, so it's really reminiscent of that. But it can't just be an Aurelion Sol ability, because then it would be too weak. It wouldn't make sense. Aurelion Sol's E is up on like a very short cooldown compared to what this would be, and so this, I know this is going to do damage all the way throughout here, kind of like a very long range Rumble ultimate or something. I'm sure this is going to be doing damage when it goes through. It's not going to probably keep doing damage in the area like Rumbles, though. It'll probably do initial damage as the rocks go. And because you don't have to ride this wall, you can use this ability and not ride the wall, and it's going to do damage. One other thing that I'm curious about, however, is, as you can tell, it's leaving a giant rock wall behind her. Is this going to be impassable terrain while this is up? So would this provide, like, no one can cross this? You have to go around it or something until the ult's finished? And all, because as you can see, we'll keep watching. Okay, so we know for at least a few seconds after the ult's already completed, those rocks are still here. The rocks have not left yet, so it's like the wall does stay up for a while. Is that making it impact, like, you can't go through this? I'm curious about that as well, which we won't find out till later. But hopefully this does a good amount of damage, and hopefully that this wall is impassable terrain for the duration that it's up. That'd make it a really cool ability. If it's not, then I don't know if I think this ability is good. I think it might need rework if that's the case. Anyway, guys, we'll scroll through here, kind of let you see this picture. Scroll down. This is just some more photos of the champion herself. Looks pretty cool. And then if you want to come and read this, guys, it tells you kind of a lot about her, like her team fights, skirmishing and laning with her. If you want to come and read it, I'll leave a link in the description below to this page in case you're interested in checking it out yourself. And as you can tell, it tells you a little bit about the synergy she has as well. And I don't really go off of what Riot says with this all the time. And then here's who she struggles against, I guess. But anyway, let me see here. Okay, and that's pretty much everything here for her, guys. So, like I said, if you want to come and check this out yourself, the link is in the description below. And you will be seeing gameplay of her as soon as she's released, I can't even talk today, released on the PvE. You'll see gameplay of her all over my channel. I'm going to be playing a lot of her. So be looking forward to that, guys. Come back. If you're new around here, be sure to subscribe so you know when I upload these upcoming videos. A message to my old subscribers. I know there's not very many of you guys, and I'm not even sure if you're still around, but if you do happen to still be around, guys, I do owe you guys an apology and an explanation for why I've been gone so long, and I promise I will make a video directed solely to the 23 of you guys if you're still around. I just think I should explain kind of what happened, and I do apologize for my absence, guys, but the really cool and important thing is that I'm here now, guys. I'm back to stay. I've got a lot of awesome videos planned for you guys, and just be looking forward to them. They're going to be coming out very soon. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm really excited about bringing them to you guys. So that's all I have for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like. It'll help the channel grow. Also, like I said, if you're new, subscribe, and if you want to, go ahead and share this video with your friends or whatever you might want to do. Give my channel more exposure, and we should be able to do a lot more stuff on this channel. I like interacting with you guys, and so if you leave any comments, be looking forward to my reply very quickly, because as of right now, I can reply to every comment with ease. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.